Assalamu alaikum, this is Nabila Sigdatoma welcoming you all to English news from BTV Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. Anti-Corruption Commission ACC starts investigation into illegal assets against former Prime Minister and Awami League President Sheikh Hasina. National Economic Council NEC approves ADP amounting 2,30,000 crore taka for fiscal year 2025-26. Trade between Bangladesh and India to continue for interest of consumers and businesses of both countries, says Commerce Advisor Sheikh Bashiruddin. Political parties and social forces must come forward, establishing national unity. Supply of spices and edible oil adequate in wholesale market of Chattogram ahead of Eid al-Adha. Israeli forces besiege hospital in northern Gaza as they continue offensive amid resuming of ceasefire talks with Hamas in Qatar. And Bangladesh to take on United Arab Emirates in second and final T20 of two-match series in Sharjah tomorrow. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. The Anti-Corruption Commission ACC started an investigation into the illegal assets against former Prime Minister and Awami League President Sheikh Hasina. The agency Deputy Director Masoodur Rahman was given the responsibility of this investigation today. ACC sources said the investigation team will examine Sheikh Hasina's movable and immovable assets, including issuing a notice of asset declaration at the same time. It will match her income tax documents with her actual assets. Earlier, the ACC started multiple investigations into plot fraudulence, money laundering abroad, and looting of project funds. In the meantime, the court issued an arrest warrant against Sheikh Hasina after filing a charge sheet in the plot fraudulence case in Purvachal. In addition, the agency is going to file another case against Sheikh Hasina on charges of looting in the name of development project at the airport. The National Economic Council NEC has approved the Annual Development Program ADP amounting 2,30,000 crore taka for fiscal 2025-26. The approval came at the NEC meeting with the Chief Advisor of the Interim Government, Professor Mohammed Yunus, in the chair at NEC Conference Room at Sherebanga Nagar in the capital today. Member of Advisory Council and concerned secretariats were present. Briefing newsmen after the meeting, Planning Advisor Wahiduddin Muhammad informed that the budget for the 2025-26 fiscal will be budget for restoring discipline in the financial sector. Nothing irresponsible would be done in this budget, he added. The planning advisor further said that the main objective of the interim government is to make the budget management sustainable. The advisor mentioned that the government will not take any new mega projects. Commerce Advisor Sheikh Bashiruddin said the trade between Bangladesh and India will continue in the interests of consumer and businesses of both the countries. He said this while talking to reporters at the Secretariat in the capital about India's decision on importing goods from Bangladesh. Referring to media reports, he said they have learned from social media and media outlets that India has taken certain decisions affecting specific land ports including Khobor and Dakwa, as well as some border areas. He expressed optimism that the trade would continue, saying this is in the interest of consumers and production sectors on both sides. On the matter of India's reported restrictions and transshipment and exports, the advisor mentioned that the transshipment has had not any significant impact in Bangladesh. National Consensus Commission Vice Chairman Professor Ali Riaz said establishing national unity is not the sole responsibility of the Consensus Commission and that political parties and social forces must come forward for this purpose. He said this during the second round of dialogue between the National Consensus Commission and Jamaat-e-Islam. At the same time, Jamaat's Naib Amir Dr. Said Abdullah Muhammad Tahir said there is no room for taking too much time to reach to a consensus. He said Jamaat is prioritizing national interest over the party on the issue of reforms. The holy Eid al-Adha is approaching. The day of sacrifice will be celebrated in the first week of June. This festival is related to the slaughtering of sacrificial animal and the purchase of spices. Traders said there is no chance of increase in the prices of spices including turmeric, chili, onion, ginger this time. Various spices are main ingredient in cooking beef and goat meat in the sacrificing festival. Among these, cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg, clove and cumin are very important ingredients. Although the price of cardamom varies, other spices are being sold at a cheaper price. The price of ginger, chili, garlic and turmeric are also on the decline this time. Chinese garlic is being sold at a price of 135 taka per kilogram in the retail market in Kadunganj. The retail price of onion is between 50 to 60 taka per kilogram. Open soybean oil is 170 taka per liter, while the price of 1 liter of bottled soybean is 185 taka. The businessmen said there is adequate supply of edible oil in the market. They said on the occasion of the holy Eid al-Adha, there is adequate supply of onion, chili, spices and edible oil in the Kadunganj. Prices are also at tolerable level in the wholesale and retail markets. In some cases, the market situation is better than that of the last year. Now, international news. Israeli forces besieged a hospital in northern Gaza as they continue an offensive to seize territory in the Strip. The Hamas-run health ministry said medical staff and patients at the Indonesian hospital in Beit Leah came under heavy fire, preventing the arrival of patients, medical staff and supplies. Israel's military on Saturday announced the launch of Operation Gideon Chariot amid the deadliest wave of strikes in Gaza in months. Intensified attacks come as Israel mobilizes for a new and expanded ground assault on Gaza and resumes ceasefire talks with Hamas in Qatar. Hamas on Saturday offered to release 9 hostages in exchange for a 60-day truce. Meanwhile, Arab leaders in Baghdad called for an end to Israel's war on Gaza and appealed for global action to get humanitarian aid into the besieged enclave. Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis said they fired 2 ballistic missiles at Ben Gurion Airport in Israel overnight. The Israel Airport Authority said takeoff and landings at the airport were briefly paused during the attack. The Israel Defense Forces IDF said a ballistic missile fired at Israel was successfully intercepted by air defense at around 2 a.m. local time. Sirens had sounded across central Israel, sending hundreds of thousands to seek shelter in the middle of the night. The Houthis in Yemen have launched 35 ballistic missiles and at least 10 drones at Israel since 18th of March, when the IDF resumed its offensive against Hamas in the Gaza Strip. At least 25 people were reported to have died and dozens injured after tornadoes tore through parts of 2 U.S. states. Officials in Kentucky said there had been 18 deaths while 7 people were killed in Missouri, including 5 in the city of St. Louis. Missouri officials said 5,000 buildings have been damaged, roofs destroyed, power lines down due to the tornadoes. News agencies said about 140,000 properties in Missouri and Kentucky were left without power as of Saturday afternoon. The U.S. National Weather Service said tornadoes also hit neighboring Illinois, with more severe weather conditions stretching eastwards to the Atlantic coast. On Saturday, it warned of few tornadoes that could hit northern Texas over the weekend as a result of strong to severe storms in the area.